CISL 650 presents your source for leading-edge news and information on today's hottest products and services. This is Experts on Call.
This is a house that Jack built, y'all. Remember this house.
All right, and welcome to the show. It's the house that Zach built. Just kidding. Welcome to Strata.Life. It's everything to do with strata, and so many people live in a strata sometime during their life. Some people their whole life if they move into an apartment, and that's where they stay. And it's very, very common in the Lower Mainland, but it's not without issues, and we have the people to solve any issues that could pop up. From Quay Pacific Property Management, Drew Grout, Director of Strata Services. Welcome back.
Good morning.
It's the voice. You're the voice of the show.
Thanks.
Drew is the constant here, along with myself. Alex Limongelli, Public Sector Manager at Waste Management. Welcome.
Thank you.
And you have your Waste Management Open in Phoenix happening right now,
Yeah,
right?
it's one of the greenest events on the planet, actually. It's a zero waste event. More than 100,000 people attend, and there's actually literally zero amount of waste that goes into landfill. So it's all recycled or composted.
So the question is, why are you here in wintry Vancouver? You could be in Phoenix on the golf course.
Good point. That's how important your show is. That's why we're here. You're more important than the Phoenix Open.
All right. Well spun. Cameron Carter, our newbie guys, we have to go easy on him, okay?
Yeah.
He is the president of Normac Insurance Appraisals and Depreciation Reports. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Are you going to catch a flight down to the Waste Management Open later?
I would love to.
Wouldn't it be good?
I would love to.
It's a beautiful spot.
It is.
All right. We're going to talk about all kinds of different things. Obviously, waste management. We're going to get into depreciation reports, and Drew Grout is here. So let's talk a little bit about each business. Now, Quay Pacific Property Management, you're sort of the point person for a strata that has a management company, right?
Correct. We provide a variety of services, but primarily strata services to strata corporations throughout the Lower Mainland. And apart from bringing our experience and knowledge and understanding, we're there basically to help the strata councils accomplish their objectives and manage their properties and protect their assets.
And it can be very small or quite involved, right?
Yeah, depending on the needs of the strata. Some require and desire full service. Others require simply accounting, and they carry the ball on lots of the other day-to-day common property management activities.
And does that really depend on the size of the strata, or is it not? Is there no rule of thumb there?
There is a real rule of thumb. Typically, smaller stratas you would think would require less, but there are the odd small strata that actually require more attention than some of the, 200-300 unit stratas.
Interesting.
Depends on participation of the councils largely.
Now, Alex, why don't you tell us about waste management? Everybody knows the big trucks, right?
Yes, the big green trucks. One of the largest environmental services company in North America. And we've been providing waste recycling and food waste diversion programs to Lower Mainland businesses and strata complexes for over 30 years. So I'm glad to be on the show.
So you take care of all of the garbage and recycling is what you're saying?
We provide residential and commercial and industrial waste diversion programs, garbage collection, recycling strategies, and food waste diversion programs to all sorts of customers here in the Lower Mainland. We've been doing it for 30 years, so we're happy to be a big part of British Columbia, actually.
So is the waste removal from a building to building? Each building has a contract with you, and do you help with that,
yes.
Drew?
Yeah, that's the contracts are with our individual clients. It's not with us, but we work directly with the contractor, negotiating a group contract for our clients as best we can. But it's individual contacts with the stratas.
That's correct, yeah. So each individual building and strata is completely different in the way they manage their waste and recycling programs. Some townhouses, complexes have door-to-door collection, where a multifamily building might have a common area collection bin where a waste management truck will come in and empty a larger bin maybe once or twice a week. So they all share in that garbage room.
And Drew, I'm guessing that's a source of conflict often in a strata, people not doing the right thing about recycling and leaving larger items in the common area?
In more recent years than before, because it's become such a growing concern with proper recycling. People fixing their, renovating their stratas and putting
old
drywall materials into the garbage. It's you can't do that.
Right.
And, the drivers, if they recognize that sort of thing in their will either not pick up or, they won't get it out of the trucks and remove it for you. So, yeah, it creates an issue. If they're caught dumping that stuff.
It's a good point. They actually can't go into your bin and take it out. Obviously, for for
all
WCB,
sorts of reasons.
all sorts
of
you don't know what's in there, liability.
Yeah.
So it's really important to make sure that the signage is there. Well, I guess we'll get more into it, but
sure.
it's one of those things where it's just not as simple anymore as it used to be. Here's a bin, throw everything in it. Now there's a lot more regulations. As a province, we're looking to divert more waste from landfill, which is a good thing. And so it just means that we just have to bring people up to speed that are not accustomed to the new programs. Yeah.
All right, and our next person is the president of Normac Insurance Appraisals and Depreciation Reports, Cameron Carter. So what is it that you do? Like, I'm looking at this and I think of appraisals, insurance appraisals. So if I own a house, I get an appraiser come by for my insurance or for redoing my mortgage. What do you do that's different than that?
Well, the appraisal that you just mentioned is known as a market value appraisal. Mm-hmm. So that's needed for banks. And so when I tell people I'm an appraiser, that's their instant thought.
Sure.
Oh, you can come and appraise my house. That's not what we do. What we do is replacement cost appraisals on strata buildings and other buildings, anything you can imagine. We got high-rises, townhouse developments, office buildings, everything like that. So we try to figure out and give you an estimate for how much it's going to cost to replace your building if it was totally destroyed in a fire or earthquake or some other disaster. So that was the basis for the company, starting out back in 1998. Now, since then, we've grown the company to have well over 5,000 clients. And more recently, within the past 5 years, we've added depreciation reports as a service, reserve fund studies, which is what they're called in Alberta and Ontario, and some engineering consulting reports like warranty reviews and condition assessments.
So I'm guessing when a strata has you come in, you say, okay, your building is 25 years old. Here's what we forecast and predict as depreciation and things that are going to need to be replaced over time. Am I getting that right? That's
exactly right. For depreciation reports, it's a 30-year timeline that you look at, and you try to figure out, okay, how many years is it going to be before your roof needs replacing, and how much is it going to cost then? Okay, so in order to get to that point where you can pay for it, how much should you start setting aside now in order to have a bit of money saved up so it'll help you out? Now, Drew, is this mandated now, these depreciation reports? It is. When did that come in?
2013.
Yeah, it's mandated by who? Is it mandated like before you'll take on a contract? It's you want to see the depreciation?
Well, it's mandated by the government through the Strata Property Act.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Every strata is required to do one. However, that being said, they can, through a 3/4 vote of the owners, opt out of it for a 18-month period, in which case after which time they have to reevaluate and either do it or opt out again. And it was kind of interesting when Normac started getting involved with this sort of thing. It for us at our end, prior to this, you had engineering firms generally doing those things, but their appraisal business is evaluating your assets. Mm-hmm. They're in a key position to be able to say, okay, we can value all these together and give you a plan to take care of them. So this is kind of a good fit for you, right?
It was a perfect fit because you have to do it every 3 years, which is the same term for our insurance appraisals. So it works perfectly together.
You do them hand in hand. We're going to get into that more as we go through. So we're going right to the mailbag. And I think this one is for you, Drew. I'm frequently out of town on business and have a friend water my plants. She was shocked during a recent visit to my Strata unit when the Strata Council president used a key to walk into my unit. He said there was something to check on something, and the council who has the right to enter any time to conduct council business? I feel like calling the police. Who's right on that?
The person does not have a right to just go in as they choose unless they have express permission by the owner. Strata corporations may need to get in on an emergency basis to a strata to mitigate some of the things we talked about in other meetings with floods and things. Mm-hmm. But generally speaking, if a strata corporation needs to go in and check on something, they have to provide proper notice. And that's pretty much a 48-hour notice period expressing what they want to do.
So that's pretty straightforward.
It is.
Okay, the next one, it says, our strata roof needs to be replaced. We're voting to authorize the funds for the work at a special general meeting. The special general meeting information says the council has only one estimate for the work from a company I don't know. The existing estimate is over $200,000. Shouldn't the council get at least 3 estimates before picking one?
I think it would be a good practice to get at least 3 quotes for a project like that. But I know that often stratas have a difficult time proceeding with a large project before the owners have actually approved moving forward. So you call in 3, 4, 5 contractors to bid on a project, and you go to the owners, they say, no, we're not going to do it. Then you've wasted a lot of time for people. So,
and then what you've told me in the past is you have to pay for estimates.
Often you do.
Right.
Often you do. In large projects, these contractors can spend thousands of dollars to put them together. So you don't want to take advantage of that bidding process. So often, not always, but often a strata will, because they're dealing with contractors, will speak to the contractor, get a figure to do the job, and they know that if they were to go to that contractor, they can do it for that price. Mm-hmm. So they'll go to the owners and say, look, we know we can get it done for this price. Do we have your approval to proceed? And in the meantime, if we get an approval to proceed, we're going to get a couple of other quotes. Maybe it'll be less, but we know we can do it for this price. Mm-hmm. And then they can get their ducks in a row, and they move forward. They have the responsibility to select.
So what you're saying is that getting the move ahead is the most important thing.
Often.
And once you have the move ahead, then you can bring in a couple of other estimates and then pick up of the 3.
Yeah. And in the end, the Strata Council has the authority to choose the contractor. They don't have to go to the owners. Often they will. They'll include it in the whole discussion resolution, but not always. Mm-hmm. Not always. But it's important for the owners to be able to give approval based on some factual numbers, mm-hmm. which would be an estimate. But in many cases, they'll probably go and get other estimates before they actually proceed.
Okay.
Certainly, that's what we'd want them to do.
We have more questions in the mailbag we're going to get to later in the show. That's the voice of Drew Grout, Director of Strata Services from Quay Pacific Property Management. We have Alex Limongelli as well, and Cameron Carter from Normac. And we will continue our conversation on Strata.Life here on CISL 650.
This is Experts on Call on CISL 650.